I'm back in San Francisco. Alright, to give some context, I used to live out of a van in San Francisco back in 2019. And I loved it. I was doing work I was passionate about, I was constantly meeting new people. There was just so much energy and momentum in my life at that time. And then COVID happened. No, I'm just kidding. I wish I could say that. It'd make for a better story. But in reality, things just didn't work out the way I wanted them to, and I had to move on. Here it is. The old WeWork. This is where I used to work. What? Looks like it's closed. There's like nothing in there. All the windows are covered. Yeah, there's nothing there. So why do I live in a van? Well, I would have to start in Santa Cruz. I was a college student at UC Santa Cruz, and I was born and raised in Southern California. So in contrast, Santa Cruz was quite different and exciting. It turned out that I was far more sociable in college than I was in high school. I made more friends my freshman year of college than I did the entirety of high school. So yes, I had a great college experience, but it was actually my post-college experience that actually mattered. You see, I dropped out during my junior year, but I stayed in Santa Cruz. I started drifting away from my college friends, and I started going to a local church. And the funny thing is that I wasn't Christian, and I'm still not Christian to this day. But I immersed myself in that community. And eventually, I wasn't afraid to tell everyone that I wasn't Christian. Because to be honest, I thought the people were quite pleasant. And I became friends with a lot of the people that worked at the church. And in terms of community and how the people engage with one another, I thought the church had a lot of qualities that I think are really hard to find outside. Like, can you think of a community that has reliable weekly gatherings? Not to mention that this church also had community groups during the week. So it wasn't just Sundays. Can you think of a community like that? Like, I'm not talking about like work or school. I'm talking about something that can stick with you for the rest of your life. You could be raised in a church and die being a part of that church your whole life. Like, damn, where can I find something like that outside of the church? Anyway, this church meant a lot to me. And I think there was a sense of mutual respect between me and the church. I think they appreciated the fact that I was completely honest with my opinions. And I appreciated them for being warm and welcoming before and after they knew that I wasn't Christian. I found belonging in a group that I wasn't supposed to belong in. And so I spent about a year with this church. And sadly, I had to move. But I was determined to find a new community in the new city that I was moving to, which was San Diego. I made such a strong effort to make new friends and find a new community. I did crazy things like put up flyers with a number and email asking people to contact me in public. And it worked. I made a lot of great friends that way. I met so many people. And one guy from a church invited me to a Christmas concert. And then I started going to that church. And I swear to you, I was trying to avoid churches. I already had enough Christian friends. And that didn't stop me from going. Because like I said earlier, there's just a quality to churches that I think it's just really hard to find. And then I was forced to move again. And just like Santa Cruz, I was robbed of all the friends and all the time and effort that I invested in a community. And this second time, after losing friends that you really care about, I lost all motivation to find another community. And this began the hardest moment in my life. Any source of joy was drained from me. I felt so numb about everything I was doing. And I had no hope for the future. I even thought to myself, what is even the point of living if I can't even be around my friends in the community that I loved? And it got so bad. One night, I was punching and kicking the walls. I just couldn't handle it anymore. And I was screaming. And I woke my mom up. And we had a talk. And that's when I asked her, what if I get a van and I build it out so I can live out of it, so I can see my friends in Santa Cruz? And she said yes. And so my parents helped me get a van. My dad and I gruelingly converted this van ourselves. It took 16 weeks straight, working 3 days out of the week, just grinding on this van to get this done. And as soon as the van was done, I went straight to Santa Cruz. And here comes the part where I say I go to Santa Cruz and I see my friends and I feel normal again. But no, that didn't happen. Being back in Santa Cruz didn't magically cure me. I was so emotionally and spiritually scarred that I didn't feel like myself, even with my friends. It took about 3 months of living in the van in Santa Cruz that my nerves calmed down enough for me to realize my situation. I had dropped out of college. I had pretty much given up all the opportunities I had. And what was my future now? I was living in a van with no career path ahead of me. And that's when I thought of moving to San Francisco. Because you see, when I was converting the van, I was only set on going to Santa Cruz. I was only thinking about Santa Cruz. And I completely overlooked the fact that I was able to live literally anywhere that I wanted to. And so I chose San Francisco because I thought that was where I would find the most job opportunities. And so I went there. And with some luck, I actually met someone that shared a same passion for meeting people and creating community. And I started working with this person. The idea was that we were trying to create this coffee shop / tea house where people can come and meet new people and just hang out. And we were exploring this concept by hosting these social events where people can come and we would serve them tea or coffee. And this was anyone that would want to come and just meet people and just hang out. And we created a community through that. I loved it. And I learned how much I loved hosting social events. But like I said in the beginning of this video, it didn't work out. But that's okay, because I now realize that the experience I got from working in San Francisco is going to help me with what I'm doing right now. So I'm heading over to Santa Cruz right now, and I'm really hoping that this YouTube channel is going to be my ticket back there, because I really want to be back there. It's the place where I think about the most. But I don't know how things will go, and I'll just be hoping for the best. So, there it is, the church I've been talking about. When I share my story about my experience with this church, am I trying to say that the answer to loneliness or the lack of belonging is to go to a church? No, not exactly. I'm more so commentating on the social climate we're in. It's too easy to live an isolated life where the majority of your association with others is not through physical interactions. Am I saying that online communities are not significant? No, I'm not saying that either. The longest friendship I have was because of Skype and Discord. But I still believe that there's nothing that can replace physical contact. Now, I'm hoping that by this point, you know enough about me to understand that what I'm about to say isn't completely absurd. I want to start a community here in Santa Cruz. With whom? You. Now, I know it sounds silly, but I'm serious. I want to have regular gatherings here in Santa Cruz with the community that I build with this YouTube channel. Now, I know that not everyone that's going to be watching this is going to be near Santa Cruz, but I'm still leaving the door open for anyone that wants to come. What are these events going to be like? Well, I have plans like a monthly barbecue here in this parking lot, or maybe a weekly bonfire at the beach. When are these events going to happen? At this very moment, I don't know. As I'm making this video, COVID is still a thing. But you might be watching this in the future, and hopefully by then, there will be an established time and place. Regardless if you're watching this the day it was uploaded or 5 years from now, please check the video descriptions for any information and for any pinned comments that I might make. Are you going to have to pay for these events? I want these events to be free and funded only by those generous enough to financially support what I'm doing. Ideally, these events would be accessible to as many people that want to come. So please, consider supporting me on Patreon. And lastly, is this channel just about these gatherings? No, I plan to make more videos. I had so much fun making this video, and I have many more stories to share with you. I don't know what the future holds for me, but I'm more excited than afraid. I hope to see you soon, and take care.